Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a late night hot take. 10 hypocritical Dems who prattle on about masks and lockdowns, but personally act like they're all BS. They personally act like they're all BS, like it's all BS. It should say, I think. But this is from PJMedia.com. It's on ZeroHedge. I just like to talk about these guys because they're hypocrites, and I think they should all be out of office. But let's go through the list because I love you love top 10 lists. They're fun. They're fun. Number one on the list, of course, Bill de Blasio, Mayor of New York City. Bill de Blasio. My message to the Jewish community and all communities is this simple: the time for warnings have passed. I have instructed the NYPD to proceed immediately to summons or even arrest those who gather in large groups. This is about stopping a disease and saving lives, period. And that's from April 29th, 2020, Mayor Bill de Blasio. He sounds unhinged. I mean, first off, it's not a disease. Really, it's a virus, which is a little different. He can't really save anybody's life with the lockdowns. That's pretty evident. But he likes to think he can. And he's very much a dictator. I mean, he has hollowed out New York City. You know, the stuff coming out of there is just horrific. He is trying to turn New York City into Seattle and Portland writ large. I mean, the biggest city in the United States. How you ever elected this moron, this commie-tard, I'll never understand it. I'll never understand why you would elect this guy. And if you re-elect him, I mean, you have no one to blame but yourself. Hopefully, with what's going on with the elections, some of that may filter in to the to a place like New York City. Hopefully, they'll re-examine the elections there. If you got any Republicans left, I think they should be at least trying to do that. Number two, Governor Gavin Newsom. Exclusive. We've obtained photos of Governor Gavin Newsom at the Napa dinner party, and he's in hot water. The photos also call into question just how outdoors the dinner was. A witness who took the photos tells us his group was so loud the sliding door had to be closed. And that was from, I believe it was from the French Laundry, I think it was called. Yeah, I mean, Gavin, he's not so much nuts and a commie like Bill de Blasio. He's more of, he just doesn't care. I mean, you know, for him to come out and say, oh, well, you know, I made a mistake. I mean, it's just not a mistake. He just completely ignored his own rules. That's not a mistake. I mean, if you come up with a list of 10 things, here's 10 things we're all going to do, and then you just ignore it, that's not a mistake. That is ignoring it. That is contempt for anyone who's ever obeyed any of your laws ever. And he has no right to shut anything down. None of these governors do. It's unconstitutional. I hope they're all sued into oblivion, and I hope every single one of them, are ousted and their careers are ruined in terms of politics. These people should never have power again. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She went to her hairdresser. And, are you really surprised? I mean, the only surprise I see is that she's a millionaire and she's too cheap to have the woman come over to her house and pay the extra money. So, it's doubly insulting, right? She could have just given the woman like $1,000 and said, listen, I really need my hair done. Why don't you come over to the house? Nobody could possibly see us there. No. Instead, she has to go to the salon. The very salon no one's supposed to be at. This woman is struggling. And And this is what they do. Rules for thee and not for me. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, another one. I mean, really, these top 4 or 5, they're really all tied for first. This woman, and she has multiple incidents. So she did the haircut thing too. That was at the height of the pandemic. She's been out on the street, with protesters or BLM idiots yelling about whatever. She has multiple incidents of breaking her own rules. She is completely clueless, I think, to everything. I mean, she's just tone deaf. I think the Chicago machine is so bad. I mean, the one place I would love to see, whatever comes out of this election, drilled down into would be the Chicago machine. That would be great. But the Democrats there, I mean, they've been corrupt, at least going back to Capone, and that's what really made them corrupt is Al Capone and Prohibition. That's what really corrupted that city, and they've been ensconced, and it's nearly impossible to break that hold. They would literally, I think Chicago will last as a Democratic city even after the Democratic Party collapses. That's how bad it is. And they're long overdue for a major federal takedown and going through and making them, making it so anybody could get elected. I mean, because who voted for this woman? I mean, she has zero charisma. I mean, absolutely zero. She has no presence whatsoever. I haven't seen her do a single thing right. Who does she appeal to? I just don't get it. CNN's. Do we pass Cuomo already? Is Cuomo on the list? Oh, no, this Cuomo's on the list. CNN host Chris Cuomo. Yeah, Mr. He supposedly quarantined for beer virus in his basement. And not only that, he's making a big drama out of it on CNN. Gets caught outside the house, breaking quarantine to go check on his second house being built. And then has the audacity to stage I'm coming out of the basement. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, I've been cooped up down there forever. Bull. I don't believe he spent 10 minutes in the basement after discovering what he did. And after seeing his terrible acting, by the way. I mean, it's just pathetic that they even did it. What they should have done is had that happen off camera. And just completely skip it. To actually show him coming out of the basement as if he'd been there the whole time, please. Talk about hypocritical. Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Now, I don't know if she's so much a hypocrite as she is just a complete and utter monster. But apparently her, I think her husband was allowed to go places, even though she ordered people not to get in their boats and go to their second homes. Apparently her husband did. But she is just, she's just monstrous. I hope she gets impeached. They're trying to impeach her. And she has disregarded her own court and just is determined to lock people down. Determined. And then to see her on camera, she just looks like some kind of, I don't know how to describe it, like a witch. She's like a witch. If I could pick somebody to play a witch, Gretchen Whitmer would be on the top of my list. She just has that evil look about her, like she's smiling, but she's really thinking about stabbing you in the face, kind of look. Oregon Governor Kate Brown. Now, you don't hear too much about her, but really, she is a lot of the reason that Portland and that area is so messed up, because she could have overridden Ted Wheeler in Portland. She could have set the pace, and she said in a tweet, "Making sacrifices today is hard, but it will help ensure no one is missing at the dinner table next year. As we remember all we are grateful for this year, the grim milestones, please take a moment for the 882 Oregon families who've lost someone during this pandemic." Oregon's machine politician has at one point of the beer virus shut down, pulled every political lever to keep the state locked down. She's closed struggling stores, sicked the cops on Thanksgiving revelers, closed every house of worship, and called every Trump supporter racist and a white supremacist. No, it doesn't matter if you're a person of color, you're a white supremacist. At the same time, she dictated that there be no large gatherings for the law-abiding. She not only failed to even attempt to stop weeks-long widespread rioting by her Antifa and Black Lives Matter allies in Portland, but filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration to try and stop the president from doing it. She's the poster child of hypocrisy. Yeah, she wants to lock everybody in her homes except for Antifa and BLM, and they could go riot and light things on fire. Oh, here we go. Number 8, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. I mean, Jesus, this guy. He's the worst. He's just the absolute worst. I mean, that he infected the nursing homes. I don't know why he did that or why he thought it was good, but Jesus, you'd think he'd have a little shame and say, at least that I made a mistake or something. It says here he never wears the mask. Well, he's on camera, whatever. But the fact that they gave him an Emmy, I mean, come on. Are you that anxious to try to elect this guy president? I thought Gavin Newsom was at the head of that line, but maybe everybody in LA hates him. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser. Now, this one I don't really know. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser defends attending Biden-Harris party in Delaware as essential travel. Where to start? The woman who holds news conferences in a mask so you can barely understand what she's saying has undertaken beer virus diktats with the seriousness of an East German guard. She lets her pet protesters and rioters loot, terrorize, intimidate, and burn things down. She recently broke her own rules and took a trip to Delaware for a Joe Biden rally. The woman who wants to put Bobby Beltway in quarantine is going to grandma's, called her trip essential, but yours isn't. Yeah. I mean, and was she the one who also renamed the street for Black Lives Matter or something? I know the Blasio did that too, but I think she did something like that, changed the name to Black Lives Matter Plaza or something. And finally, it's a tie between Governor Ralph Northam and Denver Mayor Michael Hancock, who just recently got caught. The VA, Ralph Northam, apologizes for not wearing a mask on a Virginia Beach boardwalk. I was not prepared. And they call him, in the article, Governor Sheets Blackface issued forth a directive to the masses to wear their mask and then forgot to bring his to a Virginia coast. Yeah, I know that because, what's the name? Phil Murphy just got caught doing that. Scrambling for his mask after someone confronted him. How about this, Phil? How about you lead by example and don't go out? You want everybody else to stay in. Yeah, can't do that. And 30 minutes before he boarded a plane to see his family for Thanksgiving, Mayor Michael Hancock of Denver urged residents not to travel because, beer virus. A Denver mayor said, avoid travel 30 minutes before he boarded a plane to visit family. Hypocrisy is what's for dinner this Thanksgiving. Eat up. There's plenty to go around. Yeah. So, why would you reelect these guys? Just on one incident like this alone, I wouldn't vote for these people ever again. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. These aren't mistakes. These are people who think the rules don't apply to them. that they're too important. You know, your business, your life, well, that's not as important as theirs. They get to go to parties and rallies and get their hair done. No, you suck it up. Rules for thee, but not for me.